Hey everybody, got another video here, how-to video. This one's going to be on the removal and replacement of leaf spring, eyelet, and shackle bushings. And here again, got another video, 95 F350, four-wheel drive diesel, 150,000 miles, pretty close to it. One thing that a YouTube video is not a substitute for is the appropriate repair manuals. You can see here we've got some manuals. This is the body chassis, powertrain, drivetrain, and if you've got a diesel, this is the diesel supplement. It goes over the engine. Excellent manuals. Yeah, it says Ford on them. You don't have to work at Ford to get them. You can go to helm.com. It's HELM, Hotel Echo Lima Mike.com, and order them for just about anything out there. Excellent manuals, more information than you'll probably ever need. So this is a very labor-intensive job. Takes a ton of time, but fortunately, the YouTube video here is not going to have to be that long. Just to show how this is done. Learned a couple tricks, a couple different ways, and I've kind of merged them over the years, and seems to work out all right. So I thought I'd share this stuff with you. On the Fords, the 1-ton 4-wheel drive pickups, they had the solid axle here up front. Dana 60, not just a Dana 60, but a high pinion Dana 60. But so what I've done here is I've taken apart the front shackle, removed it from the truck, and got this leaf spring eyelet bushing here. This is the 2-inch diameter, most are, and you can get the kit. I got the kit from Energy Suspension. I'm going to replace these rubber bushings with polyurethane bushings. These are pretty good product. Some advantages over the rubber is it's impervious to oil. It'll last longer. I think it holds up to the heat better. And kind of to back this up, kind of something that's pretty tough to dispute in my mind. In recent years, manufacturers from the factory are moving away from rubber bushings and going to the polyurethane bushings. So I think that's has something to do, says something about the quality of the product. And there is I guess a downside. They do tend to be a little bit squeakier, but the kit comes with some grease, and if you keep the grease on there, it should be all right. You may get a little noise, but I don't know. I tend to not mind a little noise as long as I know that it's something that's not going wrong. So we're gonna drill these out. There's a lot of dispute and debate still, I guess, about which ones to use in my mind, and I think you'll probably agree. The debate is settled by the fact that the polyurethane bushings are removed. Once you get it to this point, they just come right out. They just slide right out. I mean, they're in two halves, whereas this is a one piece. So you may need to stick a screwdriver through, catch the other side, knock it out, and then do it from the other direction. But seriously, it's 10 seconds once you're to this point. As you will see, to remove the rubber bushings, not a 10-second procedure. It's labor intensive. It's very frustrating, and it just takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. So something to be mindful of. In my mind, I'm going to go with the polyurethane. So we'll bring out the tools and show you the method that I think is the best that I found. Oh, and something that I do want to point out, this truck only has 150,000 miles. Here's the shackle. It kind of fits up like this, goes up into the truck. Anyway, this is the shackle bushing, and it is a lot smaller than leaf spring bushings, which means it has to support the same amount of wear tear that the other bushing does, but it's smaller, less area to do it, so it's going to be the first to wear out. I've got here the entire kit for everything on the truck. You can get these Shackle bushings separate in another kit from, I think a couple companies make them, but these will be the first to wear out. And as you can see, the wear here, you're missing some rubber here that's just broken off, gone. This eyelet here, it's supposed to be in the center, not in the center. 150,000 miles in 20 years, it's just pushed down through the rubber. You're not going to see that with polyurethane. It's going to hold up to this kind of wear better. So, killer product, I think. And you know, especially if you've got a truck with 300,000 miles, these are going to be gone. In fact, on my truck, from here to about here was completely gone, and I'd hit bumps and I could hear it clanking, and that's when I knew it was time. But the problem with that is that these bushings are one of the things that hold this axle straight, square, true to the frame of the truck. So as these wear out, it's going to get loose, and you're going to get some twist like this or twist like that, and your axle's not going to be straight with the truck, and you're going to have very minor alignment issues, but they can still create a ton of wear. My tire on the one side of my truck had a ton of wear, and so once I got this Shackle replaced and a new set of tires, $1,100 later, the wear problem has gone away here. So we'll continue now with the removal of these things. So there we are. First step is take drill bit, and you can start out with some smaller ones if you want, and you basically just start and drilling holes all the way around. The bit's going to want to walk on you as you get started, so you got to kind of work with it. But you'll cut these holes, and you do it from both ends, this side and this side. And like I said, you can start with small bits and then work your way up to bigger. The bigger the better. I may end up having to drill these out a little bit bigger because as you can see, there's still plenty of rubber around the edges here. But you start by doing that, and then the next concept is the air hammer, invaluable in this job. And you're basically you're going from one hole to another hole with this air hammer, and you're just cutting right through that rubber till about halfway through, and you go through and you'll cut between these two, and then cut between these two, and you're cutting between these two, and you work your way all the way around from this side of the bushing to this other side of the bushing. And then once you've done that, this eyelet here in the middle, this I don't know, little piece of tubing, should be for the most part free, and then you'll just put your air hammer on it and just push it on out of there. So I'll start here for a little bit. It's pretty repetitive, so I won't show the whole thing, but we'll start hammering here for a little bit and show you what it's all about. Alright guys, so you can kind of see we've got this drilled out a bunch and then just beat the tar out of it with the air hammer, and you can kind of see some daylight through there. The whole objective, the mindset, the approach you want to take is whatever it takes to eliminate the rubber in between the outside of the bushing and the inside. If you can eliminate as much as possible, it'll free up the friction on this, and you can just push that out with the air hammer. So that's kind of the mindset. a drill bit, some patience, and some pneumatic persuasion, and you can get the job done. So we'll hammer on this thing for a bit. I think it's about ready to come out. We'll see what happens. So there it comes out. Just finish up all the rubber, get that out. So now, as you can see, it's pretty clean in there. We got all the rubber out. And if you look, you've got the leaf spring as it comes around. So you're still left with this metal sleeve in there from the rubber bushing. That has to be removed too. So as you look, this eyelet on the spring comes up, and then it just kind of comes and meets this other side of the spring right there. Little bit of a gap. So we're going to change bits on the air hammer, and the goal is just to catch it right there, peel up enough around here, catch it and wedge that thing right in there, and you'll end up cutting, I don't know, halfway through this steel sleeve, and then at some point it'll just push the rest of it out. And once that's done, you're ready to install your polyurethane bushings. One thing before I forget, the bolts. Good time to look at these. This is the smaller bolt from up on the Shackle. This is the other bolt from the leaf spring eyelet. This one goes right here. The smaller one goes right up top here. And good time to inspect these. These will get a lot of wear. Well, not a lot, but they'll get some. And over the course of, I don't know, 300, 500,000 miles, you'll start to see some wear. So those will need to be replaced. You want to keep stuff tight here, so go and replace them. These are, you can't go down to the hardware store and get just any bolt. As you can see, you need like a, oh, these are not grade 8, these are 10.9, class 10.9, since they're metric bolts. One of the best places I've found is Fastenal stores. They sell them. You can actually get on their website, order them, they ship to you, and works out pretty slick. But you need to get to 10.9. This is what's, you go with less than that, you're putting your life and other people's lives on the line. So we'll go on to work on this thing here. Okay, so this is the bit up top. This is the one that I was using initially, just for cutting through all that stuff. Just a good general purpose bit. As you can see, it gets pretty hammered on. I guess you could take it to your grinder, grinding stone, clean it up, but for this kind of work, who cares? You're just trying to destroy that stuff, get it out of there. This is the bit that I use for catching this steel sleeve up here. Rounded like that. Also can be cleaned up with a grinder to help maintain this shape, and it helps just catch it as you go pushing down through that eyelet. Helps catch that sleeve and push it out. So we'll take this and go to work, see what we can make happen. So we're working to move as much sleeve away from this eyelet as possible, because when we do so, we reduce the amount of friction there is. It's going to make it easier to get this out. Now I think what we can do, we've got enough removed. I can just put this in there, in that little groove we talked about earlier, and just catch it and push this whole thing out. Okay, so as you can see, got that sleeve out, bushing out, everything's out, wiped up the inside of the eyelet. It's all ready to go, been all cleaned up, and so now we just get our replacement bushings, and the kit comes with some grease. Put a little grease on there, or a lot. I mean, if you put excess on there, all that you're going to do is just push it out, and that's it. That's not like it's going to hurt anything. I'll just put it on this end, the lead end, that I'm going to end up sliding through. I think most of it will come and get pushed back. Got a hole on both ends of this tube. A little bit inside here, but the big part you want to get out here. If you end up using up all the grease that they gave you in the pack, I'm sure you could use another kind. You know, probably a marine grease would probably be best, because it's a little more resistant to water and probably suited to this application. That blue stuff. But get it all greased up good inside and out, and then just slide it in. That is why I prefer polyurethane bushings over rubber bushings, because removal is as simple as that. I'd prefer that. I think the only downside really is I think they rub a little bit, or they ride a little bit tougher, a little bit rougher, stiffer, and then they may make a little noise. But like I said earlier, not too worried about the noise, as long as I know what it's from. And I've got it in another truck and I haven't heard any noise yet. And then the other thing, as far as the ride goes, I guess it depends on what kind of car you're driving, but I'm driving a 1-ton 4-wheel drive diesel. If I want a better ride, probably ought to get a different car. So slide that in, get this tube here, push it all the way through, and looks like we need a little help from the hammer. There it is. And then when you're done with your shackle, you just put it back on, bolt it back up. Torque specs are in the manual. We'll go take a look at the shackle bushing and how I go about removing that, and then we'll be done. Alright, so here's the shackle. Got it mounted here in the vise. Here's the bushing like we talked about earlier. Exact same procedure. This has saved me a ton of time doing it this way, and hopefully will save you some time too. Good luck and keep them running.